The small commander arrives. The spaceship hangar was huge and bright, filled with the noise of engines and voices. The narrator, Captain Alex, stood with his crew, waiting for the new commanding officer. Everyone was talking in small groups, wondering who it would be. Suddenly, the door opened with a hiss and a small figure stepped inside. The figure wore a long cloak that covered its entire body. The cloak was so big that it touched the floor and the hood was pulled over the figure's face. Captain, Alex stared at the figure. It was so small, maybe only 3 feet tall. He frowned. Is this some kind of joke? He whispered to his friend, Sarah, who stood next to him. Sarah laughed a little. Maybe it's a kid playing dress-up, she said. But the small figure kept walking forward, silent and calm. Everyone in the hangar turned to look. The sound of laughter and talking slowly stopped. It was strange to see someone so small in such a serious place. The figure stopped in front of the crew. With one quick motion, the figure pulled back the hood. A small woman with bright green eyes looked at them. Her face was serious and there was no smile on her lips. She looked so young, but her eyes were sharp and cold. Captain Alex swallowed. He was surprised and didn't know what to say. The woman didn't care about the surprised faces. She looked at each person one by one as if she was checking if they were worth her time. One of the crew members, a tall man named Jake, started laughing. "Are you kidding me?" he said. "She's so small. How can she be our commander?" More laughter spread through the crew, but the small woman didn't move. She just stood there, her eyes hard as stone. Then she took a deep breath and yelled so loud that everyone jumped. "Quiet!" she shouted. Her voice was sharp and powerful. Even though she was small, her voice was strong enough to stop everyone in their tracks. The hangar became silent again. No one laughed now. The woman's eyes flashed with anger. "I am Commander Nira," she said slowly, her voice low and full of warning. "I don't care how tall you think I should be. I don't care what you think I can or can't do. I am your new commander, and if you don't follow my orders, I will show you how dangerous I can be." Captain Alex felt a chill run down his back. She wasn't joking. She meant every word. He glanced at Sarah, who looked just as shocked. Commander Nira walked closer to Alex. She stopped right in front of him. Even though she had to look up to see his face, she didn't look afraid at all. "You are Captain Alex, right?" she asked. Alex nodded. "Yes, Commander," he said, his voice quiet. He felt like a giant next to her, but he didn't feel stronger. He felt smaller than her in that moment. "Good," Commander Nira said. She reached into her cloak and pulled out a small device that showed a bright blue light. She handed it to Alex. "Your first mission," she said. "You and your team will go to planet Varus. You will find out why our last scout team went silent. You will report back to me." Alex looked at the device in his hand. It felt cold and heavy. "Planet Varus?" he asked carefully. "It's dangerous there. The air is toxic and the creatures—" Commander Nira's eyes narrowed. "Did I ask for your opinion, Captain?" she said in a calm, cold voice. "Or did I give you an order?" Alex swallowed again. "You gave me an order," he said. "Good," she said again. She turned away from him and looked at the rest of the crew. "Listen to me, all of you," she said, her voice loud and clear. "I don't care if you think I'm too small. I don't care if you think I'm too young. The Galactic Empire chose me to lead you. If you want to survive, you will do what I say. If you don't, you will learn very quickly that size doesn't matter." She paused and took a step back. Her small hands were clenched into fists, and her green eyes seemed to glow in the bright hangar lights. Alex felt his heart beating fast. He didn't know how to feel. Part of him was still unsure. How could someone so small be so dangerous? But another part of him felt something else. Respect. She was not afraid. She was not weak. Commander Nira turned back to Alex. "Prepare your team," she said. "You leave in 1 hour." "Yes, Commander," Alex said. He felt the weight of the mission in his chest. He looked at his team. Everyone was silent, staring at Commander Nira. No one was laughing now. As she walked away, Alex couldn't stop thinking about her last words. Size doesn't matter. She had said it like a promise. He didn't know if she was a hero or a monster. But one thing was clear. He had no choice but to follow her orders. He took a deep breath and looked down at the device in his hand. Planet Varys was dangerous, but somehow he felt that Commander Nera was even more dangerous, and that thought made him more afraid than any alien planet ever could. The mission begins. Captain Alex felt the heavy silence around him as Commander Nera walked away. Her small figure disappeared through the hangar doors, but her words stayed in his mind. Alex turned to his team. They looked at him, unsure and nervous. Even Jake, who had laughed earlier, looked pale. "All right," Alex said, his voice calm. "We have 1 hour to get ready. Let's move." The crew split up, each person hurrying to get their gear. Alex and Sarah went to the supply room. They pulled out oxygen masks, weapons, and scanners. Sarah looked at Alex with worried eyes. "Dawai, you really think she's dangerous?" Sarah asked in a whisper. Alex nodded. "Yes," he said. "She's not normal. I don't know how, but she's not." They finished packing and walked back to the hangar. The ship that would take them to planet Varys was ready. It was a small, fast scout ship called the Starhawk. Its silver hull shone under the bright lights. They walked up the ramp. Alex's heart raced. He had been on many missions before, but this one felt different. It wasn't just the mission, it was Commander Nera. She was only 3 feet tall, but she had made everyone in the hangar feel small. Inside the Starhawk, the crew sat down and checked their gear. The engines hummed softly as the pilot started the launch sequence. Alex took a deep breath and looked at the small device Nera had given him. It showed the map of planet Varys. Red warning signs blinked across the screen. Toxic air, hostile creatures. Missing scout team, he swallowed. "All right, everyone," he said, "stay alert, we don't know what's down there." The ship lifted off the hangar floor, engines roaring. Outside the window, the hangar grew smaller as they flew into space. Stars stretched out like diamonds in the black sky. The flight was quiet. No one talked. Everyone was thinking about Commander Nera's words. "If you don't follow my orders, I'll show you how dangerous I can be." The Starhawk entered the orbit of planet Varys. From above, the planet looked like a storm. Green clouds covered the sky, twisting and churning. Lighting flashed inside them. The pilot's voice came over the intercom. "We're going in," he said. The ship shook as they entered the thick clouds. Alex gripped his seat. The green gas outside made everything dark and cold. Finally, the ship broke through the clouds and landed on the ground. The door opened with a hiss. Cold green mist rushed inside. Alex put on his oxygen mask and stepped out. The ground was wet and soft, like mud. Strange, twisted trees reached up to the dark sky. The air smelled like metal and fire. Sarah stood next to him, her scanner beeping. "I'm not picking up the scout team's signals," she said. "It's like they vanished." Alex nodded. "Let's find out why," he said. "Stay close." They walked slowly through the foggy forest. Every sound made Alex's heart race, a distant growl, the crunch of leaves, the low hum of insects. The planet felt alive and angry. Suddenly, a loud noise made them stop. A scream echoed through the trees. Alex's blood turned cold. "That was a human voice," Sarah whispered. Alex raised his scanner. "It came from over there," he said, pointing to a dark path between the trees. They moved carefully, weapons ready. The scream came again, closer this time. It sounded like someone in pain or in fear. They pushed through the twisted trees and saw a small clearing. In the middle lay a broken helmet, the Empire's symbol still shining on it. It belonged to one of the missing scouts. Alex knelt and picked it up. It was cracked and covered in green slime. His scanner beeped. Life. Signs were close but faint. He turned to Sarah. "Someone's still alive," he said. Before she could answer, something moved in the fog. A shape tall and thin stepped out of the mist. Its skin was dark and slimy, with long claws that glowed in the green light. The creature hissed, and its mouth opened wide, showing rows of sharp teeth. "Open fire!" Alex shouted. The crew shot at the creature. Blue beams of light cut through the fog. The creature screamed and fell, but more shapes moved in the shadows. The fog was full of them. "We need to move," Alex yelled. "This is why the scouts went silent." They ran, weapons ready, but the creatures followed. They were fast and silent, appearing out of nowhere. Alex felt fear like ice in his chest. But through the fear, he remembered Commander Nira's words. "Follow my orders, or I'll show you how dangerous I can be." He didn't know what she meant, but he knew one thing. She was watching. Maybe not with her eyes, but somehow she would know if he failed, and he couldn't let that happen. He turned back to his crew. "We're getting out of here," he said. "Back to the ship. Move." They ran through the dark forest, the green mist swirling around them. Every second felt like a lifetime. Every shadow looked like death. But Alex didn't stop. He couldn't stop. He didn't know what was worse, the creatures of planet Varus, or the small, furious commander waiting. For his report, one thing was sure: failure was not an option. Into the darkness, the crew of the Starhawk ran as fast as they could. The green mist twisted around them, hiding the shapes that moved like shadows. Captain Alex could hear his own breath, loud inside his helmet, and the thump of his heart. Behind him, the creatures howled. Their claws scraped against the metal trees, sending sparks flying. Every time Alex looked back, he saw flashes of their glowing eyes. "Keep moving," he shouted. "Don't stop." The ground was wet and slippery. Sarah almost fell, but Alex grabbed her arm and pulled her up. Together they ran through the twisted forest. Suddenly they saw the ship through the trees. The Starhawk's light shone bright, cutting through the green fog. Alex felt a moment of hope. But a loud roar cut through the air. A massive creature stepped in front of them. It was taller than a man, with black skin and sharp glowing claws. Its eyes were red, and its breath smelled like acid. Sarah gasped. "What is that thing?" "I don't know," Alex said, raising his weapon. "But we're not stopping." The creature roared and charged. Alex fired his blaster, and the others joined in. Blue beams of energy slammed into the creature's skin. But it didn't stop. It was too strong. "Fall back," Alex yelled. "Inside the ship, now." They turned and ran. The creature's claws slashed the air, missing them by inches. One of the crew, a young man named Jin, screamed as the creature grabbed his leg. He disappeared into the mist, his scream echoing through the darkness. "Jin!" Sarah cried. Alex grabbed her shoulder. "We can't help him," he said, his voice hard. "We have to go." They reached the ship. The pilot, a man named Mark, was at the door. His eyes were wide with fear. "Hurry!" he shouted. "They're everywhere." Alex pushed Sarah inside and turned to fire at the creature. The blaster's heat warmed his hands, but the creature kept coming. He took one last shot and dove inside the ship. The door closed with a loud clang, and the pilot started the engines. The Starhawk lifted off the ground, engines roaring. Outside, the creatures howled in anger, clawing at the metal hull. The ship shook as they slammed against it, but Mark kept flying. Alex looked at his crew. They were shaking, their faces pale. Jin was gone, and the others looked like they might break at any moment. "We need to get out of the atmosphere," Alex said. "Full power, Mark, don't stop for anything." The ship rose higher, green clouds swirling around them. Lightning flashed, lighting up the sky in bright, sickly colors. Sarah sat down and put her head in her hands. "What was that?" she asked softly. "How did the Empire send us here without telling us?" Alex didn't answer. He was thinking about Commander Nira. She had given him the mission and warned him to follow her orders. But she hadn't told him about the creatures. She hadn't said anything about the scouts who were lost. Why, he thought. Why send us here if she knew it was a death trap? The ship finally broke through the clouds and the green planet fell away behind them. Stars filled the window again. They were safe for now. Alex took a deep breath. "Mark, set a course for the flagship," he said. "We need to talk to Commander Nira." Mark nodded and set the course. The ship turned, engines humming. Alex sat back in his seat, but he couldn't rest. His mind was full of questions. He looked at the device Nira had given him. It was still blinking, showing the planet below. He tapped it, and a small image appeared. A message from Nira, Captain Alex, her small voice said, cold and sharp. Report to me as soon as you return. Do not fail me. Alex felt a chill. She knew they had survived. She was watching somehow. What does she want? Sarah asked. I don't know, Alex said. But she's not normal. She's something else. The ship flew on, stars flying by like silver streaks. Everyone was quiet, lost in their thoughts. Finally, the Empire's flagship came into view. It was a massive ship, shaped like a blade. Lights ran down its sides and gun turrets pointed out into space. Mark guided the Starhawk into the docking bay. The door opened and cold air rushed inside. Alex stood up, his legs shaky. Let's go, he said. We don't keep her waiting. They walked down the ramp and into the cold, bright docking bay. Imperial soldiers stood in lines, their faces hard. The air smelled like metal and oil. Commander Nira was there, waiting. Her hood was up again, her small figure almost hidden. But Alex could see her eyes, bright and cold. You survived, she said softly. Good. Come with me. Alex's heart pounded. He didn't know what she was planning, or why she had sent them into that nightmare. But he knew one thing. This was only the beginning. The commander's test captain Alex followed Commander Nira through the long, cold halls of the Empire's flagship. The metal floor echoed under their feet. The air smelled like oil and metal. Soldiers and officers watched them as they passed, their eyes cold and curious. Alex's crew walked behind him, still shaken from the mission. Sarah's face was pale, and Mark's hands were trembling. They didn't speak. No one wanted to break the silence. Commander Nira walked quickly, her cloak sweeping the floor. Even though she was small, only 3 feet tall, no one dared laugh at her now. They had seen her power. Finally, they reached a door at the end of the hallway. 2 guards opened it, and Nira stepped inside. Alex took a deep breath and followed. The room was dark. A single light shone down from the ceiling, lighting up a table in the center. On the table lay a metal box, about the size of Alex's hand. Strange symbols were etched into it. Nira turned to face Alex. Her eyes glowed faintly in the darkness. Captain, she said softly. You did well, but your real test starts now. Alex swallowed. Test? He asked. What kind of test? Nira pointed at the box. This device is called the Echo Core, she said. It holds the secrets of the Empire. Many have died to protect it, and many have died trying to steal it. Alex stared at the box. It looked harmless, but he felt a strange pull from it, like it was alive. What do you want me to do with it? He asked. You will take it to the Dark Nebula, Nira said. There is a station there, an old research base. You will place the Echo Core inside the main computer. Do not let it be stolen. Alex's heart sank. The Dark Nebula was a dangerous place full of pirates and old battle wrecks. No one went there unless they had to. Why me? He asked. Why not send an Imperial team? Nira's eyes flashed. Because I chose you, she said. You and your crew survived the Green Planet. You showed strength. Now you must show loyalty. She stepped closer. If you fail, she said softly, I will find you, and I will make sure you regret it. Alex nodded slowly. He knew he had no choice. Understood, Commander. Nira turned and left the room without another word. The door closed behind her, leaving Alex and his crew alone with the box. Sarah stepped forward. Alex, this is crazy, she whispered. The Dark Nebula is suicide. I know, Alex said. He looked at the box. The symbols seemed to glow in the dim light. But we don't have a choice. She's not just a commander, she's something else. Mark frowned. What if she's using us? What if this box is a trap? Alex shook his head. We'll find out. But first we have to survive. He picked up the box carefully. It felt cold and heavy in his hands. He could almost hear a faint whisper, like voices trapped inside. Let's go, he said. We need to get ready. They left the dark room and returned to the Starhawk. The hangar was busy with ships coming and going. No one looked at them, but Alex felt like eyes were always watching. Inside the Starhawk, he placed the box in a locked case. He could see Sarah's worried eyes as he closed it. We'll need to be careful, he said. Mark, plot a course to the Dark Nebula. Sarah, check our weapons. We might need them. Sarah nodded, though her hands shook. What about the creatures from the green planet? She asked. What if there are more like them? Alex frowned. I don't know, he said. But we'll be ready. As the Starhawk lifted off from the flagship, Alex looked back at the massive ship. It looked like a silent giant in the darkness. He thought of Nira, so small and so powerful. What is she really? He wondered. And what does she want with us? The ship jumped into hyperspace and stars became streaks of light. The crew was quiet, each lost in thought. Sarah cleaned her blaster over and over. Mark kept checking the sensors even though there was nothing there. Alex sat at the controls, the box beside him. He could feel it pulsing like a heartbeat. The voices were louder now, but he couldn't understand them. He closed his eyes and took a deep breath. We'll get through this, he thought. We have to. But deep down he knew that the Dark Nebula was only the start of something much bigger, and that Commander Nira was only showing a tiny piece of her real power. Into the Dark Nebula. The Starhawk sped through hyperspace, its engines humming softly. Captain Alex sat in the cockpit, his hands gripping the controls. The Echo Core sat beside him, locked in its case. He could still hear faint whispers coming from it, like voices in a dream. Mark looked up from the nav screen. We're approaching the edge of the Dark Nebula, he said. The sensors are already picking up interference. Alex nodded. Hold steady, he said. We're going. And outside the window the stars disappeared. Black clouds filled the view, swirling like smoke. Flashes of blue light glowed deep in the nebula, like silent lightning. The Starhawk shook as they entered. Sarah's voice was tight. I've never seen anything like this, she said. It's like the nebula is alive. Alex swallowed. Stay focused, he said. The commander gave us a job. We finish it and we get out. The ship plunged deeper into the darkness. Static crackled on the comms and the sensors flickered. Mark cursed under his breath. I can't see anything on the scope, he said. It's like we're blind. Alex frowned. Rely on your instincts, he said. We'll find the station. Suddenly a shape appeared in the distance, a massive metal structure, half broken and covered in debris. Lights flickered on its surface, cold and green. That's it, Alex said. The research station. The Starhawk circled the station slowly. It looked dead, but Alex felt eyes watching them. He landed the ship on a broken docking platform. As the engines powered down, the crew put on their suits and checked their weapons. Alex opened the hatch and cold, stale air rushed in. They stepped out carefully. The station was silent except for the hum of old machines. Metal groaned under their boots and wires hung from the ceiling like dead snakes. Sarah held her blaster. Tight. This place gives me chills, she whispered. Stay close, Alex said. We get to the main computer, put in the Echo Core and leave. They moved through the dark halls. Old posters and screens showed images of scientists and soldiers. Everything was covered in dust. The lights flickered, making shadows dance on the walls. Alex led them deeper into the station. They reached a large door marked Main Control Room. He pressed the panel and the door slid open with a loud screech. Inside, the room was filled with old computer banks and flickering lights. In the center was a pedestal, waiting for something. Alex took the box from his pack. The Echo Core pulsed softly in his hands. As he stepped forward, a cold voice echoed through the room. You shouldn't have come here. Alex spun around. A figure stood in the shadows, a tall man in a black Imperial uniform. His eyes glowed red, and his face was pale and twisted. "Who are you?" Alex demanded. "I am the Keeper." "The man said, I protect the Echo Core. You were not meant to bring it here." Alex tightened his grip on the box. "Commander Nira sent us," he said. "We're following orders." The Keeper laughed softly. "Nira, she is powerful, but she does not understand the Core's true power." He stepped closer and Alex could see wires and metal parts in his skin. He was part machine, part man. "The Core is not a tool," the Keeper said. "It is alive. It is ancient. And it will destroy you if you let it." Alex felt a chill in his bones. He looked at the box, feeling its cold energy. "I don't care," he said finally. "I'm putting it in the computer. I have to." The Keeper's red eyes glowed, brighter. "Then I will stop you." He raised his hand and the air seemed to freeze. A blast of energy shot toward Alex. He dove behind a console as the beam hit the wall, sending sparks flying. "Mark! Sarah! Cover me!" Alex yelled. Sarah fired her blaster, and Mark threw a small explosive. The Keeper moved like a shadow, dodging. Every shot, his laugh echoed in the darkness. "You cannot kill me," he said. "The Core feeds me. It gives me power." Alex crawled toward the pedestal, the box in his hands. He could feel the Core's whispers growing louder, filling his mind. "Join me," the voices said. "Become one with the Core." He gritted his teeth. "Not today," he muttered. He reached the pedestal and slammed the box down. The Echo Core's symbols glowed bright, and the computer screens came to life. The Keeper screamed, his red eyes flaring. "No, you don't understand." Light filled the room. The Core's energy surged through the station. The Keeper's body twisted and melted, disappearing in a flash of white light. Then, silence. Alex fell to his knees, gasping. The room was lit by the Core's soft glow. Sarah and Mark ran to him. "Are you okay?" Sarah asked. Alex nodded, slowly. I think we did it," he said. Mark looked at the Core. "What now?" Alex looked around, feeling the station's energy change. The whispers were gone, replaced by a calm, steady hum. "We leave," he said, "before something else happens." They turned and ran back through the halls, the Core's light fading behind them. Outside, the nebula waited, silent and dark. But Alex knew this wasn't the end. The Core's power was real, and Nira wanted it for something much bigger. Escape from the nebula, the Starhawk lifted off the broken docking platform, engines roaring. The dark clouds of the nebula swirled around. As Alex gripped the controls, his hands steady but his mind racing. Sarah sat at the sensor console, her eyes scanning the flickering readings. "We have to get out of here fast," she said. "The Core's energy, it's waking something up in this nebula." Mark nodded, checking the weapons systems. "We're not alone," he said. "Something big is moving out there." Alex stared. Out the viewport. The nebula glowed with shifting lights like giant eyes watching them. "Then let's not stick around," he said. "Full speed." The ship surged forward, cutting through the swirling darkness. But the nebula seemed to close, around them the black clouds turning thicker, almost solid. Suddenly the ship lurched. Alarms blared as a huge shape appeared in front of them. It was a ship, ancient, massive, covered in alien markings that glowed faintly in the darkness. Sarah gasped. That's not Imperial," she said. "It's something else." The alien ship moved slowly, like a sleeping giant. But as the Starhawk drew closer, its lights flickered awake. "Alex," Mark said, his voice tight. "We need to turn around." But it was too late. A beam of blue light shot out from the alien ship, locking onto the Starhawk. The engines screamed, but the ship couldn't break free. "We're caught," Sarah said. "It's pulling us in." Alex fought the controls, but the beam was too strong. "Hold on," he said. Everyone braced for impact. The Starhawk was pulled toward the alien ship's hull and everything went dark. When Alex woke up, he was lying on the floor of the Starhawk's cockpit. The air smelled of ozone and something ancient. He got up slowly, checking on his crew. Sarah was already awake, staring at the viewport. Outside, the Starhawk was docked inside a vast hangar. Strange machines and cables pulsed with faint blue light. Mark stood at the hatch, holding his blaster. "We're not alone," he said quietly. Alex nodded. "Let's find out who brought us here," he said. They stepped out of the ship. The hangar was huge, filled with alien ships and strange symbols on the walls. The air was heavy, like it had been sealed for centuries. As they walked, a figure appeared, a tall alien in silver armor. Its skin was pale blue, and its eyes glowed softly. "I am Karan," the alien said in a deep voice. "Guardian of the nebula. You have awakened the Echo Core, and now you stand in the domain of the ancients." Alex felt a chill. "We didn't come here to wake anything," he said. "We were just following orders." Karan tilted his head. "The Core's power is dangerous," he said. "It was sealed here long ago, so no empire could use it. But your presence has changed everything." Sarah stepped forward. "We don't want the Core," she said. "We just want to leave." Karan's eyes narrowed. "The Core is not a simple weapon. It is a key to something far greater. If it falls into the wrong hands, the galaxy will burn." Alex's mind raced. He thought of Commander Nira, her cold eyes, her secret orders. "You mean Nira," he said. "She wants the Core's power." Karan nodded slowly. "She seeks to control what cannot be controlled. If she succeeds, all will be lost." Mark tightened his grip on his blaster. "Then help us stop her," he said. Karan was silent for a moment. Then he raised his hand and a holographic map appeared in the air. "There is a hidden path through the nebula," he said. "Take it, and you will escape this place. But you must leave the Core behind." Alex looked at the map. The path twisted through the darkness, a narrow corridor of safety. But he also looked back at the Starhawk, and the Echo Core still humming softly in its case. "We can't leave it here," he said. "Nira will come. She'll tear this place apart." Karan's eyes glowed brighter. "Then you must destroy it," he said. "Only by destroying the Core can you end its power." Alex felt a weight in his chest. Destroy the Core? The voices in his mind whispered softly like a promise of power, or a curse. He took a deep breath. "Tell us how," he said. Karan stepped closer, his hand touching Alex's forehead. In that moment, Alex saw flashes, images of a great machine deep in the alien ship's heart, a forge of light that could unmake the Core. "You must take it there," Karan said. "And once it is done, you must flee. The forge will destroy everything in its path." Alex nodded slowly. "Understood," he said. "We'll finish this." Back on the Starhawk, Alex held the Core one last time. Its symbols glowed, and the whispers in his mind turned into a scream. Sarah touched his shoulder. "We're with you," she said softly. Mark powered up the engines. "Let's end this," he said. As the ship lifted off, the alien hangar faded behind them. The dark nebula waited ahead, but now Alex had a purpose, a final mission that could change everything. He took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the Core in his hands. "Set course for the forge," he said, and the Starhawk vanished into the darkness, heading for the heart of the alien ship, where the fate of the galaxy would be decided. The final forge. The Starhawk raced through the ancient ship's corridors, the blue light of the alien forge pulsing ahead. Alex felt every second stretching out, his heart pounding in his chest. The Echo Core hummed softly in his hands, as if it sensed its end was near. Sarah worked at the console, scanning for any traps or defense systems. "We're almost there," she said. "The forge is just beyond the next chamber." Mark checked his blaster, his jaw set. "We'll make it," he said. "We have to." As they entered the forge chamber, the sight took their breath away. It was a vast, circular room, filled with towering alien machines. At the center, a massive crucible of swirling energy glowed with white-hot light like a newborn star. The core seemed to pulse harder in Alex's hands, the whispers in his mind growing louder. "Release me," it seemed to say. "Set me free." Sarah touched his arm. "Don't listen to it," she said softly. "We have to finish this." Alex nodded, pushing the voices away. "Let's end this." Suddenly, alarms blared through the forge chamber. A voice crackled in their comms, cold, precise. "I see you found the forge," Commander Nira said. Her face appeared on the chamber's monitors, her eyes filled with cold fury. "You think you can stop me?" Alex gripped the core tighter. "It ends here, Nira. You'll never have this power." She smiled faintly. "Oh, but you're wrong. My forces are already aboard. They will secure the core, and you, dear crew, will be forgotten in history." The forge doors slammed shut behind them. Dozens of Imperial soldiers in black armor burst into the chamber, weapons raised. Mark cursed and dove behind a console, opening fire. Blaster bolts filled the air as Sarah ducked for cover, her fingers flying over the controls. Alex looked at the forge, the swirling light, the promise of destruction. He had to get the core there. He took a deep breath and ran. The battle was chaos. Mark's blaster crackled as he held off the first wave of soldiers, but there were too many. Sarah used her console to overload power nodes, explosions ripping through the chamber. "Alex," she shouted, "get to the forge. We'll cover you." He nodded and sprinted forward, dodging the hail of blaster fire. The core pulsed like a living thing in his hands, growing heavier with every step. A soldier stepped into his path, raising a rifle. Alex threw himself into the man, knocking him aside. He could feel the forge's pull now, like gravity itself, pulling him closer. He reached the platform at the center of the room. The forge's light was blinding, heat washing over him like a storm. He looked back at Sarah and Mark, still fighting. "Hold on," he shouted. He placed the core into the forge's cradle. The alien machinery shuddered and came alive. Symbols, flashing across the walls. Suddenly the core's voice filled his mind, clearer than ever. "Release me," it said, a siren song of power. "I will make you a god. You don't have to destroy me, rule them all." Alex's hands trembled. For a moment he saw it, himself as a conqueror, the galaxy at his feet. But then he remembered Nira's cold eyes, the soldiers in black armor, and the fear he'd seen in the people of the Empire. "No," he whispered. "No more rulers. No more empires." He slammed the activation panel. The forge roared to life. The core screamed in his mind. As blinding white light filled the chamber, the ancient machinery shuddered and cracked, the energy of the forge tearing at the core's essence. Sarah and Mark ran to him, shielding their eyes from the brilliance. "It's working!" Sarah shouted. "The core is breaking apart!" Nira's voice screamed over the comms. "Stop them, kill them all." But it was too late. The core split open like a cracked egg, white-hot light pouring out. The alien ship trembled as the forge's power surged through it. Alex felt the core's presence fade from his mind, the whispers falling silent. He looked at Sarah and Mark. "We have to get out of here," he shouted. The three of them ran for the Starhawk, the forge chamber collapsing behind them. The alien ship was tearing itself apart, ancient systems failing one by one. As they reached the hangar, Karan appeared. Again, his form flickering like a ghost. "You have done it," he said. "The core is gone. The galaxy is free from its shadow." Alex nodded. "Thank you, Karan, for everything." Karan bowed his head. "Go now. The forge will consume this place and all who remain." The Starhawk lifted off just as the hangar's walls began to crack. Alex pushed the engines to full, the ship tearing free of the alien craft. Behind them, the alien ship glowed brighter and brighter, until it vanished in a silent burst of light, like a dying star. In the quiet darkness of the nebula, the Starhawk drifted free. The crew sat in silence, the weight of what they'd done settling over them. Sarah looked at Alex and smiled faintly. "It's over," she said. "We did it." Mark leaned back in his seat, breathing hard. No more core, no more empire, at least not with that power. Alex nodded. The galaxy is still out there, he said. But at least this is done. He took a deep breath and looked out at the stars. They seemed brighter now, the nebula fading into the quiet of space. Set course for home, he said softly. We've earned it. And the Starhawk turned toward the distant stars, leaving the darkness of the forge behind. Free at last.